Can you imagine the entire world just holding its breath? A global superpower is literally seconds away from launching an attack that could spark a massive, devastating new war.
No, that's not the plot of some Hollywood blockbuster. According to our source material, this was the terrifying reality one night. U.S. jets were in the air, screaming towards their targets inside Iran. And then, at the absolute last second, the order came in, stand down. So you got to ask, what on earth happened? And what does this one moment, this one decision, tell us about a foreign policy that, well, seems designed to keep everyone guessing? Let's break it down.
Okay, so to really get a grip on that near miss with Iran, we've got to zoom out and look at the big picture, the guiding philosophy, America first. And right away, this source material points out this huge paradox at the very heart of the policy. On paper, the promise was pretty clear, right? End the endless wars, stop pouring tax dollars into conflicts halfway around the world, but then you look at what actually happened, and it tells a very, very different story.
And yeah, this really lays it bare. You see the promise, end foreign wars. Then you see the action, threatens military operations. The promise was to focus on home. The actions, well, they included meddling in Venezuela and, get this, trying to buy an entire country. Yeah, you heard that right. Let's actually start there because it's just such a perfect window into this really unconventional approach.
Okay, buying Greenland. I know, it sounds like a joke, right? But the source material makes it really clear. This was no joke. This was a dead serious, calculated chess move for resources, for strategic location, and for raw power in a part of the world that's changing faster than anywhere else. So why Greenland? The sources boil it down to 3 huge reasons. Number 1, location, location, location. I mean, it's the ultimate military watchtower in the Arctic. Think missile defense, controlling who gets in and out. Number 2, it's sitting on a literal treasure trove of rare earth minerals. And number 3, and this is a big one, as that Arctic ice melts, brand new, super valuable shipping lanes are opening up. And you can bet there's a race to see who's going to control them. And let's be clear, when we say rare earth minerals, we're not talking about stuff you'd find in a jewelry store. This is the secret sauce of the 21st century. It's the stuff that makes your smartphone smart, your electric car run, and your military satellites see. The source analysis is pretty blunt here. If you control Greenland's supply, you don't just get rich, you get a chokehold on your rivals. You can literally cut off China and Russia from the building blocks of their entire tech and defense sectors.
What's wild is that this isn't some brand new, out-of-the-blue idea. Nope. The U.S. has been trying to get its hands on Greenland for over a century and a half. I mean, they made an offer way back in 1867, right after buying Alaska. They tried again in 1910. After World War II, they offered $100 million in gold. So this latest push is really just the next chapter in a very, very long book. But there's always a but, isn't there? There's one huge roadblock. And that roadblock? It's the people. The people who actually call Greenland home. The polling data cited in our sources is just staggering. A massive 85% of Greenlanders want nothing to do with it. They don't see their country as a piece of real estate up for sale. They're an independent people. And that, right there, is why this isn't as simple as just writing a check. Okay, so from that long-term strategic play, let's pivot to a crisis that was happening in real time right on the edge of a cliff.
So if Greenland was a slow-motion chess game, the situation with Iran was a lit fuse on a stick of dynamite. It was a flashpoint, ready to blow at any second. And according to the source material, the U.S. delivered this ultimatum, a list of demands that were, well, they were anything but subtle.
Basically, it was 4 non-negotiable demands, each one a direct shot at a core pillar of the Iranian regime's power. They said, 1, stop cracking down on your own people. 2, hand over all your enriched uranium. 3, completely dismantle your long-range missile program. And 4, cut off all your proxy groups in the region. The analysis in the source material is pretty clear on this. These weren't talking points for a negotiation. These were terms of surrender, almost designed to be rejected.
And that leads us to the billion-dollar question that the analysis poses, right? Was this a real offer for peace, a last chance to avoid a war? Or was it a pretext? Was it a set of demands so impossible that Iran would have to say no, giving the green light for a strike that was already in the works? Well, Iran's leaders definitely had their answer.
And their response, as reported, was absolutely bone-chilling. Zero ambiguity, zero room for talk. It was a simple, brutal threat. If you attack us, we will unleash hell. We will hit your bases, we will hit Israel. The lines were drawn. The standoff was total.
Which brings us right back to the beginning of our story. Back to those final, nail-biting moments where this wasn't a what-if anymore. The attack wasn't just a threat. It was happening.
You can just imagine the sequence. The fuel tankers lift off. Then the jets scramble. They are airborne. They are on their way to Iran. And then, silence. The order is given to turn back. The attack is called off just minutes from impact.
So the official story, the reason given to the public, it was about avoiding a bigger war. A calculation was made that the number of casualties just wasn't worth it. It would have been disproportionate. That was the line. But our source material dives into another theory, a much more shadowy explanation.
Some analysts call it the strategic fake-out, and the idea is fascinating. What if the planes were never, ever going to drop their bombs? What if the whole thing was a giant intelligence-gathering mission? Think about it. You launch the jets, Iran thinks an attack is imminent, so they light up everything they've got. The radar systems, their missile batteries, everything goes active. And in that moment, the US gets a perfect, real-time map of Iran's entire defense system. It's an incredible gamble. It's taking the idea of maximum pressure to the absolute razor's edge.
And while all this was happening in the air, you had this incredible game of shadow diplomacy going on. Messages being passed through back channels, through countries like Russia. Publicly, or at least quietly, Iran is saying, we won't shoot first. Israel is saying, we won't shoot first. But behind the scenes, everyone's got their finger on the trigger. Iran has its missiles ready to fly. Israel's on the highest alert, ready to jump in the second the first US bomb drops. Nobody trusted anybody. So let's pull the camera back. You've got this strange real estate offer for an Arctic island, and you've got this near miss of a massive war in the Persian Gulf. They seem totally unrelated, right? But the argument in the source material is that they are absolutely connected, that they're just two different tactics from the same playbook, a foreign policy playbook based on one core principle: apply maximum pressure, whether it's economic, diplomatic, or military, until the other side breaks.
And that's the question we're left with, isn't it? When you look at all this, was it a masterful, calculated strategy, a kind of 3D chess designed to keep America's enemies completely off balance? Or was it just dangerous improvisation, a series of high-stakes gambles that brought the world to the brink over and over again? According to the sources we've looked at, that's the debate that's still raging.